In this chapter, we are going to explore what are the best types of plants to bring in your home if you're thinking about starting the process of becoming a plant parent. So when it comes to bringing in plants, the one thing you want to consider first off is what type of plant parent you want to be. Now, there's two different types. Those who want to be engaged and put a lot of effort into plant care, and those who are just starting off, don't really know too much about plants, but really want to fill their homes with a lot of good, great lushness. That's the difference between low maintenance plants and high maintenance plants in your home. So when it comes to low maintenance versus high maintenance, I put it into the analogy of plant parents who are either cat people or dog people. Cat people know that they don't typically need as much attention, or you don't have to do much for that cat that day, but you can leave a bowl of food out and water and they'll be fine. But dog people know that there's a lot of demands when it comes to being a dog owner. You have to take that dog out 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 times a day for it to survive and live. High maintenance plants are like having a dog, and low maintenance plants are like having a cat. But if you are choosing to have that cat plant, let's say, it's not a cop-out. You're just making a decision based on the time that you have and also the type of care that you can provide that particular plant. So today I'm going to discuss what types of plants probably fit best when it comes to low maintenance, and what are the sort of plants that are high maintenance, and why you might want to bring them into your home, and what things to consider when making these decisions. This window is where I actually keep all of my high maintenance plants. And the reason why is because I want to have an area where I know for a fact I need to be there constantly, daily, caring for the plants that are here. And what I'm going to talk to you about are the ones that I do actually have that are your common high maintenance plants. And those are going to be your ferns, your orchids, and your air plants. When it comes to these high maintenance plants, they're typically more high maintenance because of the type of treatment that is necessary for them to thrive in your home. The first thing that is truly going to make them high maintenance is the fact that they're tropical plants that are going to require a bit more humidity. Now, you can add humidity to your home via a humidifier, or the easier way is a misting bottle or spray bottle, something that you can go around and spray your plants either daily or every other day, and that'll depend on the type of plant you actually have. Now, when it comes to the ferns, there are many ferns out there in the world, but one of the most common ferns, I'll say, is the Boston fern, which you can find in many plant shops. And most people would think it's a fern. You can put it wherever you like, but ferns grow low to the earth's surface under a canopy of foliage. A lot of trees are covering them, so it's a lot of bright indirect light to indirect light. So you gotta find the perfect spot in your home that gets that sort of bright indirect light or that particular type of light for that plant. If you're looking for the best ways to figure out light or the best ways to water your plants, please check out those other chapters for more information. Another plant that so many of us just get excited about and bring into our homes, and you find these plants in grocery stores or hardware stores, would be the orchid. Now, when it comes to orchids, they are a beautiful blooming plant. But the blooms aren't the only part of the plant. The foliage, that is the plant as well. So if you have blooms that happen and then they start to die off, that doesn't mean that your plant is dead. That's the common misconception, is that once the flowers are gone, it's time to toss that plant out. That's not what a plant lover does. You gotta love that plant for what it is, and then you can bring those blooms back. And how to do so is making sure, again, that you're providing it with the right type of light. And then also giving them the sort of humidity that they need and the moisture for their soil. When it comes to these high maintenance plants in this world, is that they're going to want that bright indirect light, not direct sun. And over time, you'll see it bloom again. And lastly, air plants. An air plant gets its water from the humidity that's in the air. So in the wild, they pull humidity in, but in your home, they're going to need you to do a lot of the heavy lifting. While I love air plants because they can be styled in so many different ways in your home. Whether they're just hanging, let's say, on a board here, whether they're in a hanging pot like that there. You can place them on your coffee table. You can put them on the top of a bookshelf. You can do all these different things, but what is necessary, just like all high maintenance plants, is to give them the type of light they need and the moisture they require. Now, I know these plants are very demanding, so don't freak out. I don't want you to feel scared to bring plants into your home. There are so many gorgeous, beautiful indoor house plants that are low maintenance as well. And for me, I actually have a corner of my home where I want to take you and show you some of the plants that you might want to introduce to your space. So in my low maintenance window, I have the perfect types of plants that don't require so much of my attention. I have my succulents, my cacti, my peace lily, my snake plants. What's wonderful about all those plants is because they don't require so much of your attention, I don't have to think about them. I don't have to wake up early to tend to them, unlike my dog. So it's wonderful to have plants that don't ask so much of you, especially if you're someone who likes to travel or doesn't work from home. The peace lily, different than the rest of those plants, they need water, but they'll tell you when they need water by fainting their leaves when they need a drink, and then once they get a drink, those leaves will perk back up. Now, when it comes to succulents, what's cool about having a succulent is that, for one, I don't have to think about the moisture daily, weekly, bi-weekly, yes, but not as much. But what they do require is a lot of good light. Direct sun, kind of like you're seeing right now. So this succulent, while it can go a week or two without having to drink, what it will require is a lot of this really great direct sun. But when it comes to having a snake plant, what's great about them and what makes them low maintenance is not only that they don't need a lot of water, but they also can tolerate low light situations. So if you're someone who is looking to bring in a bit of lushness into your home, but you don't have the type of time to tend to a lot of plants, you might want to consider succulents, cacti, or snake plants. And if you're someone who is in tune with the language of plants, maybe go grab yourself a peace lily. It'll definitely let you know when it's time for a drink. If you want a plant that is going to require less of your time, and you're in a plant shop, you ask an associate at that plant shop, what are your low maintenance plants? Provide them with the light quality you have in your home so they can also think about whether or not that plant is a low light tolerant plant or a particular plant that might want to be in direct sun or not in direct sun. And before you leave that plant shop, make sure you inspect that plant. Because when we're talking about pest, or we're talking about roots or development of growth, a lot of those things you can avoid by making sure that your plant is already healthy before you bring it home. So we learned so many fun things today. Really, the idea of being able to understand who we are, what type of plant parents we want to be. For all my cat people and dog people out there, have fun. And don't forget to enjoy the process.